I think he realized like generalization of fans is not the smartest thing to do in general, especially when it's the really bad fans are 1% of fans, and when you're gonna go and say that all the problems are being caused by Caitlin Clark fans, and that means you're giving complete you're blaming the whole investigation started by random Twitter rumors on Caitlin Clark fans. You're blaming the green objects being thrown on the floors on.
A recent development has emerged regarding Caitlin Clark's potential return timeline, with insider information suggesting the situation may be more serious than initially reported. Commentary from a knowledgeable source within basketball media circles indicates significant concerns about the star player's availability for the remainder of the season. Scott Agnes, a respected journalist with extensive connections to the Indiana Fever organization, provided insights that paint a concerning picture. Despite any personal opinions about his commentary style, Agnes maintains credible ties to the franchise dating back to their championship era, making his information particularly noteworthy for understanding the team's internal situation. Recent social media interactions revealed Agnes responding to fan inquiries about Clark's return status. When pressed about expectations, his response suggested patience would be required for at least several more weeks. This timeline creates significant implications for both the player and team as the regular season concludes and playoffs approach.
Being thrown on the floors on Caitlin Clark fans, which is not blaming everything wrong with the team, blaming everything wrong with everything, blaming like heck. Natasha Howard's wife started calling Fever fans racist because of, and then quote tweeted a Chicago Sky fan calling her an Alyssa Smith. I didn't know Alyssa Smith was a slur, but you know what? Probably it's not a compliment. But yeah, it's a like. Scott Agnes is one of the people named in Christine.
The mathematical reality becomes stark when examining the remaining schedule. If Clark requires 3 additional weeks of recovery, her return would extend into September, providing only a handful of regular season contests before postseason play begins. Such limited preparation time raises questions about the practical benefits of rushing back for so few games. Even a 2-week timeline would position her return during late August road games, which presents additional complications. Late evening start times during away contests create challenging circumstances for a player returning from extended absence. The physical demands of road travel combined with unfamiliar environments make such scenarios less than ideal for comeback situations.
Like, Scott Agnes is one of the people named in Christine Brennan's book as basically an in-the-know person and is around the team. So look, he knows more than we do. And someone said, just can't wait till Cece's back. She's the most dynamic electric player in the WNBA. Great job, Lexi. Have patience at least several more weeks. So everyone's kind of expecting the 22nd as a return because they're playing. I think that they play on like the 18th and the 22nd. They have a 4-day break. But I think everyone's expecting the 22nd as a return. Like several more weeks and you're into the.
Current expectations among many observers centered on a potential August 22nd return, coinciding with a favorable 4-day break in the schedule. However, recent reporting suggests this optimistic timeline may not align with medical realities. The gap between public expectations and insider knowledge appears significant. Particularly troubling are reports that Clark has not participated in any team activities, including basic shooting drills. This contradicts earlier organizational statements about her progress and raises questions about the accuracy of previous updates provided to media and fans. The inconsistency in communication from the Fever organization has become increasingly apparent.
Playoffs. Like, Stephanie White was saying that she's not done anything with the team. Like, she's not even shooting around with the team. Like, as much as we're hearing certain things, I just don't know. I don't know. Like, let's just say several more weeks. Let's just say, for argument's sake, she's out for 3 more weeks. 3. Like, several seems more than a few.
Earlier reports suggested positive scan results and described the injury as day-to-day, yet weeks have passed without meaningful progress updates. More concerning are claims that Clark was engaging in full-court sprinting activities, which now appear inconsistent with her current inability to participate in team practices. This disconnect between reported progress and actual status suggests either significant complications in her recovery or initial misrepresentation of the injury's severity. The timeline discrepancy raises legitimate concerns about what information has been accurate throughout this process. For perspective on probability assessments, informed observers still maintain roughly 80% confidence in Clark's eventual return this season, with 20% uncertainty reflecting the unknown variables surrounding her condition.
More than a few. So let's just say 3 more weeks. That brings us into September. Several more weeks. If it's 3 weeks, that gives her 3 regular season games before the playoffs, and she's not going to play 3 regular season games before the playoffs. I don't know if that's even a benefit for the Fever if she plays 3 regular season games before the playoffs. That's not a great thing. It's not a great thing. And
however, these odds may shift depending on upcoming developments and whether any concrete progress becomes evident. The situation creates broader implications for the Fever organization beyond just losing their marquee player. The uncertainty affects team planning, playoff preparation, and fan engagement as the season reaches its crucial final stages. Without definitive medical information, the organization struggles to set realistic expectations or develop appropriate contingency strategies. Additional complications arise from mixed messaging within the organization itself.
That's not a great thing. It's not a great thing. And being out, if she's out 3 more weeks, she comes back for this game here. If she's out for 2 more weeks, you go a week earlier and she's back for the Sparks game on the 30th. And that's 2 more weeks from today. Like, it's not. And if you're wondering the days, the Wednesday is, I'm in Ireland, so it's Tuesday. So then she gets back for 6.
While some personnel express optimism about imminent returns, journalistic sources with insider access paint a more cautious picture. This disconnect creates confusion about the true state of affairs. The timing becomes increasingly critical as September approaches. Missing substantial portions of the remaining schedule would leave Clark with minimal game experience before any potential playoff appearances. The question shifts from when she returns to whether limited games provide sufficient preparation for meaningful postseason contributions.
So then she gets back for 6 games going into the playoffs, which gives her 19 games on the season. Not the end of the world if she comes back for this game here, but unpopular opinion, she's not going to come back for a 10 p.m. Eastern time game. She's not going to come back during a road trip. I just don't see that happening. If she's going to play on the road, like if she doesn't play this game here, she's definitely not playing this game here. She might play this game here.
Fan expectations have been shaped by earlier optimistic reports, creating potential disappointment as reality becomes clearer. The passionate fan base that has driven record attendance and engagement throughout the season deserves accurate information about their favorite player's status rather than speculation or overly optimistic projections. League-wide implications also merit consideration, as Clark's absence affects not just Indianapolis but broader WNBA interest and viewership. Her impact on the sport extends beyond team success to overall league visibility and growth, making her injury status relevant to basketball's development more generally. The medical aspects remain largely unknown to outside observers, making definitive predictions difficult.
She might play this game here, but I don't see her coming back during a road trip. I just don't. Especially the times the games are at. Just for your body, those late games can be tough on anyone. So, I just don't see it being something that's going to happen. So, look, I think a lot of people are out there saying,
However, the pattern of communication and timeline extensions suggests complications beyond typical injury recovery processes. Whether these involve setbacks, additional medical discoveries, or conservative treatment approaches remains unclear. Looking forward, the next few weeks will provide crucial information about realistic timelines and expectations. If progress reports remain absent or continue suggesting extended timelines, the likelihood of meaningful season participation diminishes significantly. Conversely, any concrete evidence of improvement could shift the situation dramatically.
You guys might be thinking, all right, Paige is pushing off Sophie, so there must be calling fouls on Paige. Incorrect, you are. This is the only league I know where Paige Beckers can literally shove Sophie Cunningham with two hands, shove Sophie Cunningham, yet the foul is on Sophie Cunningham. It's bad enough when we have that going against us. But to add insult to injury, when we come out the game scoring 15 points in the first quarter, when we come out the half,
the broader lesson involves the importance of accurate medical reporting and realistic timeline communication. Organizations face pressure to provide optimistic updates, but transparency ultimately serves everyone's interest better than unrealistic projections that require constant revision. As September approaches and playoff positioning becomes determined, the Indiana Fever must navigate this uncertainty while maintaining competitive focus with available personnel. The team's success or failure in Clark's absence will influence both immediate postseason prospects and longer-term organizational planning for future seasons. The officiating disparity became glaringly obvious throughout this contest, with certain players receiving vastly different treatment from the referees.
Scoring 15 points in the first quarter. When we come out the half, scoring 13 points in the third quarter. When the team seems not ready to actually play. When we have a coach that allows the Dallas Wings to go on a 19-0 run without making any adjustments, without calling a timeout. Dallas Wings, 19-0 run. When we have all of these factors working against us, it's going to be very hard to win.
When Beekers stepped on an opponent's foot, it resulted in a flagrant violation with 3 free throws and possession retained. Meanwhile, Mitchell committing the identical action only warranted a standard foul, with Dallas maintaining ball control afterward. The defensive matchup between Cunningham and Beekers revealed significant inconsistencies in how contact was assessed. Despite Cunningham applying legitimate pressure through proper positioning and movement, Beekers repeatedly created separation through illegal contact. Rather than penalizing these obvious infractions, officials consistently whistled Cunningham for defensive violations while ignoring the offensive pushing.
Going to be very hard to win games. Chloe Bibby, I'm at the point where I want to see Chloe Bibby get 15 to 20 minutes a night. Shoot, maybe put her in the starting lineup. Chloe Bibby is a shot maker. She is a shot maker. She shoots the three. It's like she doesn't care whether it goes in or whether it misses. She knows as soon as it hits my hand, I'm throwing it up there. And more often than not, Chloe Bibby's hitting those three-point shots. Sophie Cunningham continues to show up for this team. Kelsey Mitchell played well enough.
This pattern extended beyond isolated incidents, as Beckers received preferential treatment that surpassed even established stars known for favorable calls. The whistle disparity reached levels that made other prominent players' reputations seem modest by comparison. Meanwhile, Indiana's offensive struggles compounded these officiating challenges. The team managed only 15 points during the opening quarter and followed with a dismal 13-point third-quarter performance. These scoring droughts indicated poor preparation and execution, particularly troubling given the opponent's mediocre record.
Up for this team, Kelsey Mitchell played well enough, had a terrible brain fart. Oh my goodness, a terrible brain fart with 13 seconds left. The Indiana Fever lose to the Dallas Wings 81-80. We were down by as many as 17 points. 17 points. We battle back, we fight back, we get close. Too little, too late. Too little, far.
The coaching staff's failure to intervene during Dallas's devastating 19-0 scoring run raised serious questions about game management. No timeout was called to stem the momentum shift, allowing the deficit to balloon without any strategic adjustments or player substitutions to change the dynamic. Individual performances highlighted both positive contributions and missed opportunities. Bibby demonstrated exceptional shooting ability during limited minutes, connecting on attempts with remarkable confidence regardless of defensive pressure. Her three-point accuracy suggests she deserves expanded playing time, potentially 15 to 20 minutes per game, or even starting consideration.
Far too late. We couldn't overcome the hole that we dug ourselves. We couldn't overcome the slow start in the first quarter, and we couldn't overcome the slow start in the third quarter. We have Paige pushing off Sophie Cunningham play after play after play after play after play. Look, this is one instance right here. Sophie draped all over Paige. Paige pushing off Sophie Cunningham. Yeah.
Cunningham continued her consistent contributions despite facing physical coverage throughout. Mitchell played adequately overall but committed a critical mental
all over Paige. Paige pushing off Sophie Cunningham, yet that's a foul on Sophie Cunningham. I have no idea how. We have Paige pushing off Sophie Cunningham, yet that's a foul on Sophie Cunningham. I have no idea how. We have Paige getting guarded by Sophie Cunningham, pushing off Sophie Cunningham again, yet, of course, this is going to be a foul on, you guessed it, Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham, deny.
This habit has persisted throughout the season despite repeated warnings about its potential consequences. Two viable options existed in that situation. Either call an immediate timeout to organize a proper play or ensure the ball reached the designated playmaker instantly. Instead, precious seconds were wasted as Howard dribbled across half court without purpose, reducing available time for offensive execution. The coaching staff's timeout management proved equally problematic. Multiple opportunities existed to stop play and reorganize immediately after the rebound when Howard retained possession upon crossing half court or when Mitchell struggled against tight defense.
Sophie Cunningham, deny, face guard, hands are up, Paige pushes off. Oh, yep, that's a foul on Sophie Cunningham. Paige Beckers, folks, her whistle is undeniable at this point. Paige Becker's whistle is so superior, it makes it look like Asia Wilson doesn't even have one. Paige Becker's Wilson is so severe that it makes Brianna Stewart look like she doesn't get enough foul calls. It would be nice if we get some whistles like that in our favor. It would be.
None of these strategic moments were utilized effectively. By the time a timeout was finally called with under 2 seconds remaining, options had become severely limited. The resulting play design, a curl screen for Mitchell leading to a contested fadeaway three-pointer, appeared poorly conceived given the circumstances and available time. Statistical analysis reveals additional concerns. Boston managed 14 points and 5 rebounds, but was thoroughly outplayed by the opposing center, who scored 20 points primarily against Indiana's interior defense.
If we get some whistles like that in our favor. It would be nice if every time Kelsey Mitchell gets knocked on her butt, taken to the rack, she gets a foul call. It would be nice if AB going to the rack, she would get a foul call. It would be nice if Sophie Cunningham got mauled all game on the offensive end. No foul calls in her favor. She's throwing it off the backboard, putting nasty English on it, gets fouled, no call. Coast to coast, gets fouled, no call. Gets hacked coming across the lane, foul, no call.
The turnover problem persisted with 18 giveaways leading to 27 Dallas points, indicating continued carelessness with possession. Bench production remained inconsistent, with minimal contributions from several reserve players. BB provided the lone bright spot with 11 points in just 12 minutes, reinforcing arguments for increased utilization. Timpson played 5 first-half minutes before disappearing entirely from the rotation without apparent justification. The defensive approach showed mixed results.